दोस्तों, welcome to my channel.
Today I will tell you a story, The Adventure of Little Red Riding Hood. There was once a little girl who lived by the edge of the wood. Everyone liked her. The little girl was the darling of her mother and grandmother. Her grandmother had made a red cloak with a nice hood for her. She liked it so much that she started wearing it all the time. Thus she was called Little Red Riding Hood by all. One day Little Red Riding Hood's mother said, "I have made some cakes. It would be nice if you could take some for your grandmother. She would be happy to see you." Grandmother was not well, and Red Riding Hood had been waiting to visit her, so she agreed to carry the cakes for her grandmother. Red Riding Hood thought of taking the way by the woods. On the way, she met a wolf. The animal wanted to have Red Riding Hood for his meal, but that was not possible as there was a woodcutter nearby. So the wolf did not dare touch the little girl. He only went up to her and asked where she was going. Red Riding Hood was polite and unaware of the real intention of the wolf. So she said that she was going to her grandmother's house. The wolf said, "I wish to meet your grandmother too. And where does she stay, my dear?" Red Riding Hood said, "Up over the hills where the sun meets the meadow." The wolf knew of the place. He said to Red Riding Hood, "Let me run up to her and give her the news that you are coming." The wolf took the shortcut and landed at the home of the grandmother. He knocked the door, and when the grandmother asked who it was, the wolf imitated the voice of Little Red Riding Hood and said, "I am Red Riding Hood, Grandma. I have come with cakes that mother baked for you." The grandmother asked to pull down and latch and open the door. The wolf did as he was told. He quickly pounced on the grandmother and gobbled her up. The wolf then dressed in the grandmother's clothes and glasses and waited for the Little Red Riding Hood to arrive. Little Red Riding Hood was enjoying her adventurous journey. She plucked fresh flowers for the grandmother and spoke with the butterflies and birds on the way. Finally, she reached the grandmother's place. She knew how to open the door. Red Riding Hood came inside and saw that her grandmother was resting on the bed. Red Riding Hood climbed up the bed and sat beside her grandmother and said, "Grandma, your arms, they are so long." To this, wolf replied in the grandmother's voice, "I have long arms so that I can hug you tight." She then noticed the wolf's ears and said, "Your ears, Grandma? Why are they so big?" The wolf said, "So that I can hear you clearly, dear." The Red Riding Hood noticed the wolf was not. She said, "You have such a big mouth, Grandma." This is when the wolf said, "So that I can eat you." Saying this, the wolf pounced on Red Riding Hood and ate her up. The woodcutter who was cutting woods in the forest heard the noise and rushed into the cottage. The wolf was unable to walk after having eaten up both the grandmother and Red Riding Hood. The woodcutter immediately killed the wolf and took out the Little Red Riding Hood and her grandma from Wolf's tummy. Then they hugged each other. Little Red Riding Hood and the grandmother thanked the woodcutter. From that day, Little Red Riding Hood promised herself to not talk to strangers.